Call Don now, 682-1270. News Talk 1270 KIML.
News Talk 1270 KIML. Don Carpenter Show. Welcome back to the program, and joining me in studio, Chad Franzen. Good morning.
Good morning.
So instead of football, let's talk about the NHL playoffs. Well, actually, it's probably a little bit bigger than that. And I had no idea until yesterday, but apparently this is the first time since I think it was the 1978 World Series that New York and LA have met in a title series of some sort.
Yeah.
For any sport, I would have thought that the Dodgers and the Yankees would have probably. Well, I guess the Yankees, when they were having their stretch in the 90s, I guess they were probably playing, I don't know, the Braves most of the time, I think.
Yeah.
It was
like
the Braves. I think one of the times was the Diamondbacks. It's just an assortment of teams. But I guess it's been since. The example given was Tommy John was the starting pitcher, so that's
really?
So I guess it was the late 70s. I mean, I think it was 78 or 79 when the Yankees won their last World Series for that stretch. I don't know. It was the old days of Reggie Jackson and all that. So I guess that's when Terry became a Yankees fan.
Yeah, probably.
But, I guess he grew up in Montana.
He had the luxury of choosing teams.
Yeah. Well, and that's actually not a bad deal to have.
Steelers, Yankees, Celtics. You can tell what.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't jumping on the
losing team's bandwagon.
Well, I guess who would you have at that point? I guess the Broncos were good back then, but not winning championships.
They went to the Super Bowl around 77.
Yeah.
Necessarily good the entire decade.
Yeah, and
of the 70s.
There was no baseball team, of course, and the hockey team ended up moving to New Jersey. So
in the 80s, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's probably what I would have done.
But it was in Montana. It's not like they have to. It's not like they're right next to Colorado.
That is true. So I guess if you're in that situation, you do get to pick your team.
Plus, you don't have. It wasn't like there's the internet, and I don't even think SportsCenter was that big of a deal if it even existed back in the 70s. So you probably just go by whatever was on the national.
It did. I think it was 82. I think is when ESPN started.
So he ended up with the Steelers, Celtics, and Yankees.
Because that's what you got to see on TV.
Yeah.
So this kind of got me thinking, and this is for all sports now. New York and LA, they've had recent success for sports teams, but what would you consider the best sports city in America
besides Denver?
Besides Denver, well, I mean, you could say Denver if you want. I mean,
Chicago.
I was thinking Chicago. They've had success in hockey recently, basketball sort of recently in the past 20 years.
Oh, are you talking about team success, or are you talking about passion for the sports teams?
A combination of both, or however you want to do it. I mean, if you are going to pick a city to be a fan of their team, say you live in Taiwan and you have nothing to do with an American city of any sort. You have no geographical connection, and you wanted to follow a city's sports teams. Who would it be?
Well, there's only one city that I can even think of that has had championships in all four of the major sports.
Yeah.
And that would be Chicago. I guess New York, but they have so many teams it almost doesn't count. And Chicago just has incredible passion for their teams. New York would probably be second. Denver has incredible passion for their teams, but only 2 of the 4 have won titles. I'd probably go with Denver has the nicest weather.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of surprised that you didn't think of the obvious answer for this.
Which is what?
Boston. Boston has won championships.
They've won championships in all 4, too.
In all 4 sports in the past 10 years.
Yeah, you're right. They've been incredibly successful.
Let's see. I guess it's I guess it's been a little bit more than 10 years for the Patriots.
What was I thinking?
But-
Yeah, of course. They've done fantastic.
Yeah, and they have insane fans.
I don't like them, yes.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody hates Boston fans for rightful reasons.
Probably why I forgot about
yeah,
Boston.
I mean, Patriots fans are racist. I mean, you can ask Torrey Smith about that. I mean, the day after his brother dies in a motorcycle accident, the Ravens go up to Foxborough, and the fans are yelling racial epithets at him.
Wow.
I don't know if you see that at Celtics games or
I'm sure you do.
probably. I'm sure you see it at Red Sox games too. But that's just
I wouldn't choose Boston. I mean, based on that, I wouldn't choose Boston.
Yeah.
If I was in Taiwan, I might, though.
Well, I think if you were in Taiwan or Madagascar or somewhere that no connection at all to an American city, I don't know. I mean, the fans would ruin it for me. The fans would ruin it for me for Boston, and the fans would almost ruin it for me for New York. I don't know if I would be able to pull for a New York team either.
And the Knicks. Oh,
well, yeah, the
hideous
Knicks.
Organization.
Yeah,
The Jets aren't much better.
but the Giants and the Rangers are well run.
Sure.
And the Yankees, of course. Mets not so much. Although I will say I don't mind Mets fans because they're long suffering and they understand. So Mets fans aren't that bad. Yankees fans, I think Yankees fans have been humbled over the past few years. They're not used to just, for a while they were just able to buy championships. I don't think they're doing well at that. But I still probably wouldn't pick New York. I'd probably pick Chicago.
Are there any other markets besides Boston, Chicago, and New York that have had all four teams win titles in their entire history? I mean, I know L.A. did. The Raiders won out of L.A., but they don't even have a team anymore, so you can't count them.
Well, and
the fans don't care about the sports.
Yeah, and the Rams won a championship in like 1947 or something, so I don't know if that counts either.
St. Louis?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't have a basketball team.
They don't have a basketball team. St. Louis and they haven't won a Stanley Cup either.
Oh, the Blues haven't won a Stanley Cup?
Pretty sure they haven't. I mean, Coach Winkler mentioned.
It's been several years.
Yeah, if they have, it's been a long time.
Huh.
St. Louis. The Rams have won the Super Bowl. The Cardinals, of course,
they don't have a basketball team.
Yeah. St. Louis might be a good pick though.
They don't have a basketball team.
They don't have a basketball team. That's the problem. But their fans are great. That's the thing about St. Louis. Cardinals fans are great. Rams fans, they don't bother anybody, but they don't have a basketball team. And Blues fans, of course, are great. It would have to be Chicago. The Chicago fans aren't terribly. I don't know. You can make a good case for Denver, although the teams haven't been as successful. At least the Nuggets. The Nuggets haven't, and the Rockies. Well, the Rockies.
The Nuggets have been far more successful than the Rockies.
Yeah, but the Rockies have made
suck.
runs. They've made runs. The Nuggets have
The Nuggets
done all
won
right.
50 games a year every year when George Karl was the coach. Just about.
And
the Rockies suck.
The
Please don't even put them in the same sentence.
Okay, but the Broncos and the Avalanche are obviously good franchises, and the fans. You never hear anything bad about the fans. So you can make a case for Denver. I mean, it maybe not as much of a case
except
as
for the drunken people that go to Bronco games.
Trust me, it's no worse than
anywhere else.
any other franchise. At least they're not racist, and at least they're not throwing ice balls at Santa Claus.
That's true.
So you got that going for you as a Broncos fan. And I will say,
I can't believe you were going to give the Rockies more credit than the Nuggets. My soul hurts.
Well, the Rockies do have they have a nice stadium. I mean, it's a nice experience. I'd put Denver at least in the conversation. I don't know. It would be hard to beat Chicago.
Oh, definitely.
It would be hard to beat Chicago.
It would be hard to beat Boston too, other than the obnoxious fans.
Yeah. The only thing Well, yeah, that the fans ruin it for Boston.
What about Dallas? Have they won a championship at all three? Did they have the Rangers ever won one? I don't think they have.
No, but they're consistently a decent team. So and with the new ballpark, it's a pretty good experience.
Huh.
Dallas might be up there with Denver.
Dallas has nice weather.
Yeah, they have nice weather. Cowboys fans are Cowboys fans in the 70s and 80s and early 90s when they were winning championships, they were unbearable. But I think Cowboys fans are now kind of humbled.
The Cowboys are.
Yeah.
They're hard to root for.
Oh yeah, I mean I wouldn't root for them, but
unless you like 8-8 teams that are overhyped.
Yeah, well that's the thing, and Cowboys fans are kind of used to that now.
I guess
so Cowboys fans aren't a problem anymore, and you never hear anything bad about Mavericks fans. Dallas Stars have won a Stanley Cup. The Mavericks have won.
Title.
And Dallas is probably up there with Denver. It would be hard to. I guess if I were living in Madagascar or Taiwan, I'd
go Chicago.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to pick Chicago, just because the fans. I mean, I know the Bears haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years, but they've won one. The Blackhawks have won. Have the White Sox won won a World Series? Yeah, they've won one recently, well, at least the past 15 years. 10, and of course the Bulls. Not since the late 90s, but they've won some championships. Obviously,
6.
Yeah, 6 of them. But yeah, I guess it would have to be Chicago. So what do we have going on in sports?
The Rough Riders are in Denver this weekend to play in a tournament. We'll hear from Nate Perleberg about that, and the NHL Stanley Cup Final started last night.
Yeah, apparently that was a really good game.
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
Okay, let's take a short break. We'll be right back. News Talk 1270 KIML.
Always the best local guests and interviews. Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML. 70 KIML.